Okay. Testing. Okay, we're in. All right, man. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible, but you know what we're talking about. We're talking about the juice. OJ. All right, just wait for some people to come in and like man, you niggas start with the bullshit already, man. Like y'all gotta really. Let's go. Yeah, I thought about making this, whether a live or a video. I just didn't have time to put together lives, what have you. I want to get it to the point where I'm simply making a lot of 5-minute videos, 5 or 10 minute videos, because if you can get all this information within 5 minutes and put out the video, and obviously I'm going to start doing shorts too. It'll really be more efficient. Gotta excuse me, I'm kind of getting over a cold, a short one. I had like a sore throat. I think the weather has been up and down, and I literally couldn't talk. But yeah, I had to get this one out during the news cycle. Peace to anyone and everybody listening to Clouds, people who are coming in. If you hear me, just put some ones up in the building. And yeah, what's up, Black Anonymous? And whoever else is looks in the clouds, and let me tell you something, y'all. Some of y'all with the celebrity worship, man, it's getting to the point of it's mental illness. Yeah, excuse me. I'm getting napkins here, so I'm gonna be blowing my nose a bit. Hold on a second. Let me blow my nose. This isn't one of those thick snots, like the snot that runs down your nose. You know what I'm saying? It just, hate those. It happens when you're getting over a cold. But anyways, let's get right into it. This is from NBC News. As you all know, all right, OJ Simpson, the former NFL star who was acquitted of murdering his ex-wife and her friend in a televised trial that gripped the nation, has died of cancer, according to his family. He was 76. He was surrounded by his children and grandchildren, according to the family, in a post on X. During this time of transition, his family asks that you please respect their wishes for privacy and grace. Reports circulated in February that Simpson had been diagnosed with prostate cancer and was in hospice as he underwent chemotherapy. He denied that he was in a hospice in a video posted on X, but did not address whether he was diagnosed with cancer. Basically, OJ, for everything that he is, and we'll get into it in this video, he's just an egomaniac to the end. All right. He's not going to admit any sort of weakness. And I'll get into that. But yeah, OJ is just, he's never going to admit any sort of weakness or fail, but whatever. He's an egomaniac and a narcissist. Orenthal James Simpson, the Juice, played 11 seasons in the NFL and was known as the Juice to his fans. Obviously, OJ, Juice, whatever. But his sports legacy was tarnished forever in the 1990s after his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman was killed. Now, let me just say, I don't believe, all right? You got to understand what OJ accomplished as far as a running back. See, this is something that'll drive this, excuse me. Yeah, I got a little cold. This drives the sportscasters crazy because whether it's the NFL Network, NFL Films, you can't just erase this guy out of history. He was that good on the college, in college and in the NFL. Even though he played for a really bad Bills team and 49ers team, he left there before the 49ers had their dynasty. But you can't eliminate him from sports. So his legacy on the field will never be tarnished. The man ran for 2,000 yards back when they had 14 games. They got 16, 17 games now, and running backs are struggling to get to 2,000 yards. So the man, aside from being a piece of shit off the field, he was a beast on the field. So I don't think this tarnishes his legacy at all. But yeah, Brown, Nicole Brown, which was 35, and Goldman, 25, stabbed to death out of her Los Angeles home. So I'm just, there are a whole lot of different moving parts with this shit. There's a lot. So just understand the Brentwood house that he worked for, it's her home. So said back in June 1394, Goldman was returning sunglasses that the mother of Brown Simpson had left at a restaurant where he worked. The two were stabbed and slashed dozens of times, and their bodies were found the next day. When Los Angeles police officers went to Simpson's home to speak to him about the slayings, Simpson did not answer the door, right? But officers noticed a trail of blood leading to his car, as well as blood on his car. Once a revered athlete, Simpson went from Hall of Fame icon to murder suspect. Again, he's always going to be a Hall of Fame icon. It's always. Anyways, days later, officials charged Simpson with the murders, and he attempted to evade arrest, resulting in that infamous hour-long police chase along Southern California's highways in the white Ford Bronco, interrupting the finals, the Knicks and the Rockets. Thankfully, Knicks won that game. Got a little distracted. They won that game, but they lost the series. Anyways, Simpson's case went to trial in 95 and was broadcast to millions of viewers across the nation. The court case was dubbed the trial of the century, as it dragged on for months and transformed into a public spectacle. Feelings over the trial have remained mixed over the years, with many accusing the Los Angeles Police Department of racism, which it is. That's not an actual, that's a fact. All right. In his handling of the case, others believe that Simpson's ability to retain high-powered attorneys allowed him to get away with murder, which he did. See, and let me just stop it. Look, there are people who are getting online saying that OJ was proven innocent. That is not the case. OJ was found not guilty. Not the same thing. Not guilty. So the Los Angeles Police Department, the city of Los Angeles, with all the evidence, they couldn't prove that he did it. So he was found not guilty by a jury of his peers due to reasonable doubt. He wasn't found innocent. And some of your favorite influencers are coming out talking about how OJ's innocent. OJ was found innocent. Whites are mad. We're going to get into all of that later. But, like, this is why I don't follow any of these cats. Doesn't mean he was found innocent. Now, he was absolved of guilt by this wonderful legal system that we have here in America that was created, as we know, for whites by whites, all right? Especially if you have cash, especially if you have money. And let me just shout out somebody. Last call, what's up? Jojo dancing. It's not just him, Jojo. It's a couple other people. I'm getting to that in a few. But if you're black, and let me just yeah. And we're gonna this is what we're gonna definitely get into, Black Anonymous. This right here. And yeah, again, Jojo, it ain't just him. It ain't just him. It's a few people. It's a few people out there that are running with the bullshit. That are running with the bullshit. But yeah. He wasn't found innocent. He was found, he was simply found not guilty. Not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Now, as I said, especially if you have money, you know, you got that complexion for the protection, right? And you get in a bit of a jam like this, and we've seen it over and over, especially if you got the cheddar to get yourself out of tough spots. Now, complexion for protection, like I said. Now, if you're black, it does complicate things a little bit, because if you are black, then basically, you know, you definitely have to have money. But if you don't, you may not get out, unless, let me just say, don't tell OJ that. Don't tell OJ that you need to be black, because this is a man that literally didn't see himself as a black man. Literally, as you know. This was from the Washington Post, all right? The guy who wrote it, basically, if you Google OJ, why he didn't get into politics, go OJ, I'm not black. It's from the Washington Post. But those famous words, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Those were Simpson's words when he said in a response to a civil rights activist and sociologist, Harry Edwards, in the late 1960s. And we know what was happening during the late 1960s. You know, because Edwards was trying to recruit Simpson, who was a renowned two-sport athlete. He didn't just do football. He ran track, right? So they wanted him to participate in the Olympic protest and the Olympic Project for Human Rights. And Simpson told him directly he wanted no part of activism then, and certainly after he won the Heisman Trophy. 2 months after John Carlos and Tommy Smith took up the fight, raising their fist on the 200-meter medal podium during the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City, in protest of the treatment of black folks in the U.S. All right. And those two paid a heavy price for what they did. Heavy. If you get a chance, watch, if you have Hulu, especially, I have Hulu, or maybe it's playing on certain ESPN specials, watch OJ Made in America. I just started watching that, and I finished part 1, and but in OJ Made in America, Edwards explained Simpson's reasoning, and this was during the time, again, one of the most tumultuous times in American history. Martin Luther King assassinated. Muhammad Ali lost his license protesting the Vietnam War, right? Stripped his boxing title, looking to arrest him. And OJ was saying, I remember this because I'm going to get back to this later. He said, I want to be judged not by the color of my skin. I want to be judged by the content of my character. Who said that? Hold on. I just got to blow the nose here. Like I said, it's them leaky runny noses, man. Pain in the ass. But And most of all, want to be judged by the content of my character. Most of all, the caliber of the competence, Edward said in the film. I think I'm the greatest football player that this country has ever seen. That's all I want to be judged by. Let me repeat that. I think I'm the greatest football player that this country has ever seen, and that's all I want to be judged by. Don't tell me I've got to do this because I'm black. You see, that's your boy. That's the guy that black people are losing their freaking mind over right now. Basically trying to shame other black people. What's up, B1 for life? Trying to shame other black people to get behind OJ in some sort of goofy code that you perversed, as far as Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Anyway, the article goes on to say, if anything, Simpson's blackness was something to be bartered in exchange for wealth, for the fumes of white privilege and celebrity worship, for an escape from the realities he faced growing up in the Potrero projects in San Francisco. So he's from the hood. His blackness wasn't supposed to be thrown in anyone's face, to make the people who were cheering for him feel guilt for the indignities experienced in America by the people who looked like him. Mostly his blackness was to be avoided. That's where I'm not black, I'm OJ came from. Look, I've heard every conspiracy, all right, or most of the conspiracies. Most of y'all are going to come up with more dopey conspiracies as well, all right? My position on OJ and Nicole and Ron's murder. Nicole, I think if OJ did not do it, OJ knows who did it. That's my position. If he did not do it himself, he knows who did it, or he had help. How do I know? First of all, DNA evidence. There was DNA evidence. What's his name? Alan Dershowitz just wrote an article in the Daily Mail today or yesterday saying that there was DNA evidence. His position, he's been all over the place because, of course, he's a freaking, attention whore. He's got to be speaking to everybody. But he said himself that DNA, there was DNA evidence. All right. So the prosecution, they presented compelling DNA evidence, including the matching bloody footprints, hair follicles. OJ still had hair back then. A glove found near his home. Now it's his. I just noticed that. See, it was her home when he was slicing her up. Now it's his home. This is he murdered. Whatever. But listen. A bloody glove found containing blood that tested positive belonging to Goldman, right? Blood was also in his Bronco near the driver's outside the door handle. Blood samples were smeared on the console. Now, we know the conspiracies that we're getting with that. The steering wheel, the carpeting, the DNA test showed some of the blood consisted of some of Simpson's genetic markers and victims, right? So the LAPD had tested a knife buried on OJ Simpson's former estate. Also, you're innocent, but you lead police on a car chase. You're innocent, but you lead police on a car chase for hours with a gun to your head. Talking about how you're trying to end it all. But you're innocent. How about when OJ changed his alibi? The initial alibi was he was asleep at the time of the murder. That was his initial alibi. Then later, the defense changed that alibi with a series of stories one of which was he was hitting golf balls outside his home. Where are you hitting the golf? Listen, bro. Listen. Excuse me. Where are you hitting the golf balls? You hit golf balls hard. Where? His house wasn't that big. Where? And if let me continue. Let me continue, bro. And golf balls outside his home. The defense claimed that a neighbor's housekeeper, Rosa Lopez. You if you follow the trial, you know that name. She saw his car parked outside his home. However, confessed during cross-examination that she could not be precisely sure whether or not it was his Bronco was there. Then, of course, motive. All right. He was a jealous motherfucker and beat the living daylights out of this woman. All right. And I'm not saying for good reason or nothing like that, obviously, but that was a whole complicated relationship. I'm touching that a little bit later on, but dude was beating the shit out of her. She was out, they separated for a time. She was out whoring it up. We'll get into that a little later. But yeah, basically, he was into jealous rages. I mean, there are tapes of that happening. You can't deny that. You can't. You saw the pictures of her. But we'll get into that later. So, and the last thing, I mean, this dude is a dumb. If you like, how the fuck are you writing a book? Right? We'll get into that later. You write a book saying, if I did it, listen, like I said, this dude is really a sociopathic cat. Like, if I did it, like, what are we doing? Anyways, I mean, like, let me just give you a quote from that book. Oh my God. This guy is like, he is really a narcissistic, egotistical bastard. In the book, he says, if I had actually done it, I would have brought my good gloves that day. He is, wow. Like, I would have thought it was a shame that they shrunk when I left them out on the patio, but I would have brought them just the same. They were my lucky gloves, and I would have needed them because I was going to stab my slut of a wife. And he says, hypothetically. Nowadays, you'd say respectfully. Shit. Oh, my God. And again, excuse me. And we're going to get into this later, but keep in mind who he's saying this about, right? It's the mother of his kids. And that is, it's been 30 years. And it's just weird that the kids haven't said shit or been quiet. I mean, they're grown folks now, but we'll see. But we'll get back to that. But this motherfucker is just, it's sick. He really is sick. But yeah, what dummy would write that book? Now, just a little bit on Nicole, if I may. I mean, look, listen. Look, Nicole, yeah, it was fucked up what happened to her. Obviously, I don't think anyone should go like that. But and she herself had her issues. I mean, look, like drug addict. I mean, that's documented. Whoring around, that's documented. All right, those good morning specials that she gave to dudes. I mean, after she divorced from OJ, right? She decided to go and you can look at this pictures all around, like in between two dudes. She's a mother at this point, right? But And understand something too. OJ, right? Because and let me just go to this dude right here. I just want to show you a dude right here. Just give me a second, and thanks everybody for coming in. But just to show you that some of these dudes, and yes, I know Mark Furman fucked it up, Rakim. Yes, I'm aware of that. I mean, he was a reasonable doubt. I'm well aware that Mark Furman fucked it up. Again, OJ was found not guilty, all right, by a jury of his peers from reasonable doubt, and Mark Furman was the one that planted that doubt. You listen to all the interviews of the lawyers, that's the doubt. When they played that tape of him saying the N-word and just black, bro, it was done. It was over with. And how does he get rewarded? He's now a correspondent on all these conservative news stations. And I remember that 2020, I think one of those guys interviewed him, and you have black people saying, nah, he's not a racist. He's not. How the fuck can you say that? How? But let's continue though. But yeah, I'm very aware. Like he fucked up the case for the prosecution. But listen, the prosecution was incompetent. Every last one of them from Gil Garcetti on down, they were incompetent. So and hold on, let me just check if I may. I just want to check my to make sure that this is going through. Hold on. Always got to check my lives. All right, we good. Listen, what's interesting, you got white folks out here, some of whom, I mean, I don't think, and understand, there are some white people who still like OJ, but we got some people saying that OJ mad at him because in a jealous rage, he allegedly killed his wife. But his wife wasn't a perfect human being. Doesn't mean she had to die. Just like George Floyd didn't have to die. But you had people who were coming out saying George Floyd was a drug addict, he did porn. Dude, think about this. George Floyd, a black man, did porn, right? Probably to get some bills paid because he was broke and he was destitute. This woman right here probably had her pick of the litter with men who wanted to snatch her up and marry her, rich men. So she had choices, she had options, and nobody goes after her. I'll tell you what else she did too. Do you know that her and OJ have 2 kids, as you can see, right? Look at this. Her and OJ, they have 2 kids, right? You know that Nicole had 2 abortions? They could have had 4 kids, but she had 2 abortions, not 2 miscarriages, 2 abortions. Like, again, notice the double standard. If that was a black woman, how she'd be the rat-a-tat-tat and the dot and all this other stuff. This woman right here is totally ratchet. Oh, by the way, let me just go here for a second. I'm just gonna say what it is. I mean, she was. I mean, again, she didn't mean to die. But listen, but here's what I can't take with you Negroes, like trying to stick up for OJ. And let me find this dude here. Let me see if oh wait, let me go back. Let me find oh, you know what? Yeah, here we go. Let me go back. Give me a sec, y'all. Give me a sec. Come on, I don't want to do that. All right. Like some of these dudes, some of y'all just lost your mind out here. I got to be careful with Twitter because, or X or whatever it is, because listen, you can type in one thing and something else could come up. So hold on. Let me be careful with this. Here we go. All right. Shout out to everyone who's come in. Part of my presence. What's the deal? How you doing? Um, what's going on, Spottum? I'm guessing that's you, right? Yes, Nicole was a cokehead, Rakim, 100%. This is already documented. As was OJ, by the way. As was OJ. But let's just go. I said, man, like Negroes with the F shit. I mean, this right here, this is one of Tariq's boys right here who's let's go down. Let's go down. I mean, this dude is caping like crazy for uncovering rampant, which is obviously the LAPD, the dark truth about the LA, and he's from LA. I guess he's gonna play that up. But there's something that I want. Let's see. Wait, I know. Okay. OJ floods America with white tears. We'll touch on that too, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. Stop getting mad over OJ. Oh, wait. Listen. There's a tweet that this guy, and there's been a couple of goofball tweets out there and takes on this, but there's one in particular that I want to. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Like, come on, guys. Like, what are we doing? Saint OJ for bringing out classic race. Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, this is what I'm saying when I say the bullshit here. And this is not. I'm gonna go into more, but these are like we are losing our minds here. OJ shined a light on racial by him. Did he? Really? Like you didn't know? Oh, like, oh my God, dude, you're from the West Coast. Rodney King and the LA riots were like a couple years before. Like, what are we doing here, bro? But here's what it is, guys. Look at this shit. Rest in peace to the Juice. I got introduced to him as Officer Norberg on the Naked Gun. OJ was a great football player, legendary one. I got to remind y'all, that was falsely accused of murder. I just told you why he might have done it, but whatever. Falsely accused of murder when his drug addict ex-wife, you see that? His drug addict ex-wife, right? And friend were sliced and diced while he was on a plane to Chicago. Although he was acquitted of murder, his subsequent trial by media showed us how the media can make someone guilty by propaganda. Oh, good Lord. Jesus, take the wheel already. Really. But let's continue. No man before nor since enrages white America more than OJ. It's not true. I'm going to go into that later. They trusted their good Negro, and he turned on them. We're gonna deal with that later on. We're gonna touch on that as well. They trusted their good Negro. He turned on them. OJ was the good Negro that got away. Rest in peace. Oh God. And I'm saying, I mean, it's just the bullshit right here. And let's just, there's other things as well. Like, yeah, what's up, Knowledge? There's other things as well. Like this type of shit. Like, what are we doing, bro? And you know what? This is not just this. Here's another one. Here's another one that just blew my mind. Oh, hold on. Let me snatch it up. I actually, I thought I had that. Let me get that for a second. But like seriously, bro, like we have like this OJ shit. Like, what are we doing? Like this room right here. I'm sure that you guys have seen if you've been looking at like this, and look at the message down here. The message is stay mad, crackers. What bothered me about this was posted by a lot of people. Sadat X posted this. For those who are rap fans like myself, Sadat X is Derek X, as you know, from the legendary group Brand Nubian. right? Lord Jamar, Grand Poobah. Pardon me, nose is dripping still. Yeah, but Sadat X posted this. I mean, this is supposed to be heaven right here, bro. Like you're supposed to be conscious and you're posting this for OJ. This is a like seriously, y'all. Like this is a win. Like what are we doing out here? I've not seen people put up King OJ and rest in peace King. Like you know what this showed me? Because OJ did everything that he could, everything to distance himself from black people. Everything. Again, watch Made in America on whether you got a Hulu or whatever. Watch that. I've only gotten past the one, just one, the part one. There's 6 parts. I'm watching all of them. But this man wanted nothing to do with his blackness. Nothing. And you're telling me he dies, and this is the send off that you're giving him, like that this is what he's supposed to be getting, and this is heaven to him. Like, would you? I mean, and this is the thing during the trial, Malik Zulu Shabazz, and of course, the Nation of Islam. They spouted off about, oh, I thought he was like innocent before proven guilty, blah, blah, blah. And back then, I'll just say, I was like, yo, I was on code, quote unquote. All right. Free OJ. And, because this was right after the Rodney King riots and Rodney King and what they did with, as far as trying to brainwash us and showing us the Rodney King video, slowing it down, trying to tell us that he deserved to get his ass kicked the way he did. Like after that verdict, you saw people interviewing folks on the street saying, oh, justice was served and, we all need to go back to work. I was pissed, and so were other people. This was karma. That was a good thing that came out of this. Like, black folk were right to react the way they did. But for OJ, let's get back to his wife for a second, all right? Because again, like, bro, look. Again, she had major addictions, this woman. Major ones. And she again, she had 2 abortions, excuse me. Supposed to have 4, she had 2 abortions. And she didn't die like, but again, OJ, understand this for those of y'all who were caping for this cat. OJ met this woman at a club as a 30-year-old black man, still on the Buffalo Bills, still a star, still America's sweetheart and all of that other stuff. OJ met this woman as a 30-year-old black man in his prime at a club as a waitress when she was 18. An 18-year-old waitress. And not to give too much, and again, I just saw one part of ESPN's Made in America with OJ. He met her, he saw her. He was with his friend. He saw this woman, 18-year-old, serving drinks. And he tapped his friend, who was a white guy, and said, I'm going to marry that woman. This is what he said. And he eventually met up with her, all right? Her family's from Germany. So supposedly they didn't know who he was, whatever. Which maybe that might be the case, whatever. But listen, he met her. 2 days later, they dated. And that night they dated, in 2 nights, they had rough sex, according to her brother. Now, whatever, she's grown up, or she's 18, I guess, legal. But, dude, y'all keep talking about, black first and all this other bullshit. And this dude days not. And this is while he was married to his black wife, pregnant black wife. Shit. Like, come on already. His pregnant black wife. So, but OJ is his pregnant black wife. So again, like, what are we doing here? Pregnant with the child who I believe died a couple years later, or that the next year. This was back in what? 77. He met Nicole. Still married to his wife who was pregnant at the time. So he's out there, knocking up hoes. Um, while his wife, his black wife, is sitting home pregnant, right? And then 78, I think one of his children drowns in the pool, right? Let me just get back to this. Not this. We'll get to that in a minute. But where are we at here? Yeah, this. One of his kids drowned in the pool. They had 3 kids. One of them drowns in the pool, right? And the next year, he divorces his wife, marries Nicole, like a year later. He marries his chick. Now, understand something with Nicole's family, because they had a turbulent relationship. She was out, and this is according to the story, she was out sleeping with a bunch of men, doing drugs and what have you, but still went home and fucked OJ because according to her, the sex was good. Yeah, this is like documented shit. But she was just a loose woman. But he chose that. But he was beating the living daylights out of her. And we can beat up on OJ and, whoever's rooting for OJ, but her family has a lot to do with this. Her family sold her for 30 pieces of silver. They knew he was kicking the shit out of her. But OJ, I'm guessing, let's think about this. He took that whole family who just based from what I'm seeing were a bunch of bums. Let's just like didn't really have careers like that. He took the family in. That whole white family from Germany, he took them in. And don't forget Kato Kalin. So this dude, like, what are we doing here? What do we do? He chose that. What are you talking about? See, the only true victims here, I mean, there are a few, like Ronald Goldman, like wrong place, wrong time. I mean, like for people who are saying that this dude, that somehow, OJ couldn't kill the both of them, allegedly, right? Listen, it was a crime of passion. Yeah, people saying that we're gonna get into some of the conspiracies and like they're saying, oh, he's got a bad knee. That was brought up in the trial too. Oh, he had a bad knee. How's he gonna fight a 35-year-old and a 25-year-old? Well, he's an ex-athlete, number one. All right. Number two, from what it seems like, he probably caught her surprisingly, sliced her up while this dude was coming back from his workplace to give her, I guess, glasses that her mother left. They were probably, that was probably her boyfriend. And dude became enraged. And there are instances in life because they showed during the trial, they showed a picture of him before that supposedly happened in a calm state, hugging up her family and everything. Like they played the trial brilliantly, but you can snap. You can become enraged. And you talking about a dude who apparently, like I said before, gave his wife his mansion, right? Gave his wife his mansion. Word is around, he knows that those two were, that the whole community, I'm guessing, knows that she sleeps around like a whore, right? So at the end of the day, like he probably snapped. He probably snapped the way that happened. And let me also say this too, man. Can we uh, one person in because there's been a lot of characters in the court and who came up during like obviously Marsha Darden and Johnny Cochran and um a few people. Look, lay off of Chris Darden. All right. People are trying to make him out to be one of the biggest house Negroes to ever walk the planet. Again, this is what OJ. This is another dude that. And hold on a second. Let me just blow my nose here. Hold on, y'all. All right, my bad, y'all. Okay. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, lay off Chris Darden. I mean, Chris Darden. Oh, yeah, he was in the wrong spot in history, bro, and he got manipulated by both sides. And the man was what 38. He was like a really young lawyer trying to get his foot in. He saw in OJ what everybody is seeing now that this dude was the biggest like Sambo that you'll ever run into. He saw all of that. And like if you get a chance, read his book called In Contempt. All right. He had a very, very good he said something very interesting in there. He said, listen, we do need to fight for our freedom, not now, but you're gonna sit here and fight for a dude whose whole life is white, which it was. I like think about this. They had to the defense, OJ's team had to go to his house and take out all of his pictures with nothing but white folks. That's what they had to do for OJ. He didn't rock with black people at all. They went to his house and the defense team, anything that was white in the house, because obviously the jury was mainly black, and you had photos of African art, photos with him and all his black athlete friends, right? I mean, they had to do all of this. Is how dead and brainwashed this dude was. And Chris Darden saw all of this. And he got close with the family who was obviously white. Now, understand too, Chris Darden, unlike OJ, who wanted nothing to do with black people, Chris Darden was lived around black people. He had to go home when black people were sticking up for OJ. He had to go home in the community. Like the jury was sequestered. He wasn't. He had to go home in the community to these crazy people who were riding for OJ. And look, I mean, even like his life, like, look, his life is kind of messy, as far as his relationships. But yeah, crazy, yeah, Alquan, crazy as in, OJ. Like real and the truth is, um, my opinion, people were kind of rooting for some people knew OJ. They were rooting for Cochran more. Yeah, I'm gonna try to believe that. But look, yeah, that's like Chris Darden was Chris Darden was not the problem here. I mean, again, he saw what everybody's seeing now, and again, what he should have done before they got him to he shouldn't have tried to get those gloves on OJ. And if they like they made him the scapegoat of that whole trial, all right, and he just it messed him up, and that's what Johnny Cochran manipulated him. His team manipulated him. He just got fucked up. But it was the wrong. He was like wrong place, wrong time. Johnny Cochran was trying to put the entire LAPD on blast. That was the time. So why are y'all caping for OJ? Oh, well, white folks hate him. Okay, and wait, white. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's just get this into perspective here. Like, hold on a second. Hold on. You said white folks don't like him, right? White folks don't like OJ. Like, can we stop this foolishness? White folks don't like OJ, right? Go ahead and tell me that again. These are recent pictures. This is him with, look at this ex-girlfriend. Like you got this one on the winner, and obviously look at all his women. All right, let's just go down the list. I mean, like y'all got to stop this, bro. Look at this shit. This is recent, obviously. This is after he got out of jail the second time. Like, what are y'all talking about? What are you talking about? Seriously. What are you talking about? Look at this. Look at this. This was after this woman right here. This was after he left. He left. This was after the first trial. This was after the first trial, and he moved down to Florida. And look what he snatches up right away after the trial. If anyone remembers, think about this. Right after the trial, right after he was proven not guilty. The first thing this guy does, like not even a day later, he gets home. He gives the bullshit about, oh, I'm gonna go find the real killers, blah 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 blah, and he goes golfing around the same people. Like, come on, bro. White people don't like, really? Seriously? Like, come on, y'all. Stop it. And listen, I've heard a lot of the fool conspiracies. I mean, like I've like one that how is a guy with a bum knee gonna stab up a 30-year-old woman? I mean, he had a lot of practice, snatching her up and beating her into the ground. So I mean, like, I don't think it was that much with him. But then they were saying Ron Goldman was a black belt, which was a lie, right? That's untrue. He is not a black belt. He was not a black belt. They brought that up. They said that they made Colombian neckties. Guys, first of all, this happened back in the 50s. All right, maybe still happening now, but why are they going to waste their time and make Colombian neckties for a couple of junkies? Like, can we use our brain? These weren't capos. These weren't important people. These were a couple of junkies. How many times have anybody even seen? How many times have you seen people getting cut up with Colombian neckties? My God. Then another one I heard, I'm not going to mention the name of the person, all right? But dude said, well, how is OJ going to, he's going to kill somebody. He puts on a sweatsuit. He gets a mask, and he puts on Bruno Mali's shoes. And if you've seen Breaking Bad, it's not like he's Gus Fring where everything has to be right. It was a crime of passion. So again, you're not thinking of anything but taking them out. You just find the nearest thing, shoes, whatever clothes are near there, get a mask. Come on, y'all. Like, stop. Now, here's one that I might give some credence to. Here's one I might give some credence to that I heard. All right. This is a complicated one. One said that his son, his eldest son, like the one over in the picture with the sister, that he had some mental problems. I heard that for a long time. He had some mental problems. He actually got arrested for trying to stab someone before, and that he was over there and he, you know, stabbed them both up. That's what they're saying, and that maybe he's trying to protect his son. All right. Now, here's the issue that I have. So, his son, who's been in one incident, right? And you don't hear him being in any incidents like that at all. You don't hear him in getting arrested or anything like that. But pay attention to the two people on the right, his youngest kids, Nicole's kids. See, you're sitting there calling her a drug addict and what have you, but she does have two quote unquote black kids, right? Right? She has two mixed kids. So, like, if if you know that your mother, because those two kids, obviously one of the biggest cases ever in the history of the country, your mother got absolutely savaged, all right, at a young age. At some point, you're going to want to know answers. See, this is why I would leave the door open. There's like a little door open as to why maybe he might be innocent, because neither of those kids have ever spoke up against him. All right. Now, OJ is a very charming dude and he's very persuasive. And maybe he made up some sort of story as to how she got killed. I don't know. But I'm sure they weren't under a rock all this time. They had to know. All right. Someone had to tell them. OJ had to sit them down and talk to them about it sometime or another. So that is what kind of leaves the door open. But if his son actually killed her, again, that is their mother. So you're saying that they're good with their brother killing their mother and they're not saying anything? That's what's weird about this. And the kids are still, I guess, relatively young. I think they're not even 40 yet. I think that, and there was rumor that he had everybody who came to visit him sign an NDA. If you're the kid and you know the truth, are you signing that NDA by a guy who might have killed your mom? So I'm very interested to see what's eventually going to happen with the kids. All right. I heard other things as well. How did he do this in 25 minutes? I mean, pretty easy. Like, what do we like? Just, the blood, obviously the blood being planted. You've heard that stupid shit. Um, listen, and there's even rumors about OJ's demise. I mean, there's word that he might have taken the jab, and obviously that stupid shit's gonna come out. So he's like, you know, obviously people gonna say that dumb shit. But and I see that Alquine, I haven't been looking in the chat. I guess you're going into all the conspiratorial things. Let's see. Cochran and his team brilliantly put together certain. I know this. I said that at the beginning of this. I said that it was reasonable doubt. All right. I said that they found him not guilty. That doesn't mean he's innocent. The media said that Goldman was a mark. That was not true. You can't find that anywhere in the media. You can't find that anywhere online. That is not true. No one said that. and the Colombian neckties. Johnny Cochran brought that up during the trial. Didn't like again. You're gonna waste time doing a Colombian necktie for a bunch of junkies, all right? Like, come on, bro. Like, this is again. They're not. Yeah, but then come on, bro. Like, this is what I mean. Like, here you go with all the conspiracies. Here's another one. I'm sure he did not confess to everyone unless it was a religious thing. Watch Cameron. Yeah, that's another thing. Like Cameron, like, dude, this guy, like some of these dudes, man, like, what the fuck? Cameron is calling you a coon if you speak out against OJ. Like, what? Cameron. Cameron is one of the great rappers out of Harlem, but I can't Cam, like you listen to this dude's content over the years and the image that he promoted, and he's calling people a house nigga. If you don't get behind OJ, Uncle and OJ, I haven't been watching him, but I heard that he would put on like chains and a hat and stuff. This like this dude is like really? I understand you wanted to bring him on because you know he's a bit of a pariah. Those are the type of people you brought on, but dude, and if you watched him, by the way, and I'm sure you watched what he was talking about, how he went after Bruce. Okay, he went after Bruce. Fuck that dude, by the way. And this dude is saying good riddance. This dude, you freaking mashing into people and killing them. What the fuck are you talking about? As Bruce. And what's so crazy about it, about that clown, and I'm just gonna say that's what he is, because this is just a dude in drag. Because even if you look at what he supports, he goes out and grows a set of tits and chops off his rod, and he is totally against all type of LGBTQIA type of policies. Goes on Fox and goes against all of that shit. Like what? Like what in the hell are we doing? And that dude's voice, I can't, dude. Creepy ass voice, bro. Creepy. Like, is this something that happens to your voice after you go through a transition or something? That dude sounds weird, but he needs to. As you can see, we're not sticking up for OJ, but he needs to shut all the way the fuck up. But Cameron was tiptoeing around that, like, oh, I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about the gay community. Y'all do what you want, bro. That was like, and you attack black people. Come on, man. Yeah, Cameron is not. What's up, Kofi? Like, Cameron needs to shut the entire fuck up, bro. Like, what are you doing? Seriously, black people are we're house Negroes for not getting behind a coon like OJ. I'm done. What is this? Anyways, but here's my question to all the people that running all the conspiracies and all the as to why OJ was innocent. One of your big influencers, by the way, said when he did a live like when the black man is innocent. That's why I don't fuck with any of those dudes. I don't fuck with any of those dudes. But anyways, let's say OJ didn't do it, right? As I said, I think that if he didn't do it, he either knows who did it or he had help, right? You don't act the way you don't. I've given all the reasons why I think he did it, but it's one of those three. But OJ said after he was let off scot-free, no record, no nothing. And when was it? Like at the end of the year, I think it was October or November when the case was over and he was found not guilty. My question is, he said he was going to find the killers. Why didn't he go on a search for finding the killers of his kid's mother? Again, those two kids on the right, his youngest kids, be very interested in what happens with that in the future. I don't think this saga's over. And I think you're going to see a couple of secrets. They're already talking about the Goldmans raiding their accounts, right? They're already talking about that. What's up, Quandon? Um, no, he wasn't. He was not. He was declared not guilty in a court of law. It doesn't mean he's innocent. But let me get the glasses here. Shout out to Kofi and yeah, it's a symbol of the justice system, working justice system. Black people one at a time. Yep, he was not innocent, bro. All right, he was not guilty in a court of law by. He was found not guilty. Not the same thing. Not the same thing. Yeah. Oh, there's kids in Florida. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I think that eventually they're gonna say something. No way you can just whatever, just live through life. Your mom got sliced up like that, and you don't know. OJ must have put down a really good story for them not to say shit. A really, really good story. All right. But my question is, why didn't OJ, who had nothing to lose, he was free, why didn't he go out on a campaign to find the real killers? Just for the sake of his kids. And here's the funny thing. For those who think that nobody would be with it, Kim Goldman, the sister of Ron Goldman, wrote OJ while he was in jail about 20 times or so. Wrote OJ while he was in jail. So it's not like you didn't have an ally like that. She was willing to work with you. But OJ, once he gets out of prison, what happens? What happens when he gets out of prison? Here's what happens. Where the white women at? That's what happens once he gets out of prison. That's it. He didn't give a shit about finding the killers. He didn't give a shit about going to LA. In fact, he just made a joke out of the whole thing. Some of y'all, if you get a chance, when he interviewed that lady, and the lady was like, and after the interview, OJ was playing like he was going to stab her with a knife. Writing that book, If I Did It, like a fucking clown. The only thing I can possibly think of, because like I said before, Nicole had 2 abortions. Maybe those kids aren't hers. That's the only thing I could possibly think of. It's the only thing I can think of. There's no way those kids cannot have any questions after 30 years. And mind you, this death, see, I think you're going to get some answers because this death right here, I don't think a bunch of professionals did it. This was personal. This was personal. So when you look at, let's say, like Tupac or Jam Master Jay, that shit was personal. I think it was easier to get those guys as opposed to, say, Big, which I think was a professional hit. Might be harder to get them, but I think something like Pac and JMJ, that was personal. But y'all gotta stop this with caping for this dude. The man, ask yourself when any of these dudes say, oh yeah, he is innocent. How? You were there? Explain how he was innocent. Why didn't OJ go looking for the real killers? Do you believe the bullshit he said? Oh, I think the killer may find me. So that means, like I said before, you knew who killed her. Like, let me just see. I think last call was dropping some tea here. Let's see this. Saw OJ and his wife, his kids in Florida, mostly cool, loved them. It's not OJ's job to find anyone. It's the state's. Not listen, bro. Come on, man. Stop. Oh, like, can OJ work with the state? How about that one? So OJ's not going to work with the state to find the killers of his kid's mother? Really? Like, come on, bro. He didn't even attempt. We're pretty obnoxious. Okay, I mean, I'm guessing if you go before a judge facing 30 years and you're found not guilty, you don't do the time, which means, okay, like we're just gonna go back and forth with this. Like seriously. That was a target. Come on, bro. Like seriously. Why was it a targeted mafia hit? Why would the mafia? And let me ask you this too, because people are saying, Negroes are saying, well, they set them up. Why in the world would the system want to set up and get rid of OJ Simpson? Like a slave, like a guy who is like a slave, always be a slave, like a dude who is committed. Why would the government try to get rid of him? Look at what's his name. I mean, and I was gonna mention Smokey Robinson. That him too. He said some weirdo shit. Billy D. Williams, who said, it's okay to do blackface. And back when I was young, somebody did blackface, and I laughed my ass off. Especially I saw that dude was wearing had a more a big butt. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. First of all, he took away your job. Let's just start with that. And don't you know that's the essence of blackface? Like, but when you got Negroes like these, right? Why would they get rid of a committed slave like OJ? Why would they do it? What's the purpose? Right? So these dudes, but again, but let's just get into why, right? Because y'all are sitting here trying to shame black people. Black folk got to get behind OJ. He's your king. All right. He I'll just mention his name, Philip By's show. That dude, like OJ took on the system and got away. Like OJ, watch Made in America. OJ Made in America. OJ did everything for OJ, not for you. But anyway, here's why OJ, because remember, let me just see. Let me just see the other shit that's happening. But white people are mad. The only reason black people, that's the only like celebrate. Well, again, and let's just get back to what I talked about before. Are white people really mad at OJ? Like again, are they mad at OJ? You know what I'm saying? Like look at this is, hold on a second. Like whites are really mad at OJ like that. Look at it. These are recent photos. They're recent photos. All right. They hate OJ, right? Why do you think? Why do you think Bill Cosby wants to go back on the road and do stand up? The reason he wants to go back on the road and do stand up is because he has a ton of white fans. Whites love that dude. Everybody, Jerry Seinfeld, Jay Leno, he was their icon. They learned from him. Most of black comedians learned from freaking Richard Pryor. White comedians learned from him. That slapstick humor, that was, and Bill Cosby has a lot of white fans, as did OJ. So this idea that whites hated him, nah, that's not true. Let's see. Talking to mafia, yeah, we gotta stop that. OJ, what do you think, dude? All right, like again, we're just gonna go back and forth. If somebody does that to your wife, you're not even gonna assist. You're not gonna at least help them out. I don't like. This is what I'm saying, man. This is what I mean. So your wife gets sliced up, and you don't even want to know what's going on. And the police are not going to come out and say OJ tried to find the real killers. And why was he acting the way he was? Why would you write that dumbass book if I did it? Like, come on, man. Well, he wasn't into men, but his father was, right? His father was actually a punk. Like I said, watch that. His father was a homosexual that died of AIDS, I believe in the 90s. Yeah. Though he wasn't into men, but his father was. And he came from the hood. I don't know if this is what I don't know. I don't know if this shaped his thinking at all. I have no idea. Brett Cantor. Yeah, I heard that name. You talking about the guy who really killed him? Seriously? Like again, OJ. Have you ever heard OJ talking about Brett Cantor? Yes, he could have killed both of them. I'm just explaining it. This is what I'm saying, man. You guys are trying to say that OJ is innocent with all the evidence, the DNA evidence, the motive, the car chase, right? We weren't there. Like again, this is a crime of passion. Who cares if he got bad knees? The man was walking around him and like seriously, guys, like, oh my God. Yeah, thank you, defrauding. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And yes, guys, hit the like, hit the share, hit subscribe. I mean, yeah, keep that going. But yeah, man, like, uh, man, let's just go back here. You know, like them Jello pudding pops. Century. No, he wasn't no Muhammad Ali. Billy D. Williams, okay? Like, what does that mean that he's Caribbean? Who cares? All right. OJ's a black American. What's your point? But let's just get right to it. Why? So y'all are still sticking up for OJ, right? And you still think that you should shame black people for not getting behind OJ. And you know, if we just go through the trajectory, his timeline. I mean, we know about his college exploits, one of the greatest running backs ever in college. We know what he did in the NFL. He was on a shitty Bills team, but again, 2,000 yards in a on a team when the NFL had 14 games. Like running backs are struggling to do that now with 17 games. Right, first pick in the draft. Right, retired in 1979. I told you about what happened with him and his wife and what's her name, Nicole during that time. He's inducted into the Hall of Fame in '85, and during that speech, he gives all homage to his queen, Nicole Brown Simpson. I mean, you just look at his induction to the Hall of Fame. Like again, this dude. If he didn't think that color mattered, then why wasn't he around black people? Like, come on, bro. So, you know, he started doing obviously the movies. Naked Guns were good movies, by the way. Naked Gun was a good movie. And 92, he files for divorce from Nicole, right? After 7 years of him, beating her up and abusing the shit out of her and everything. 2 years later, she gets, she gets wasted. And basically, that same like 5 days later, he gets called in by prosecutors. The trial starts in June, and in October, he's acquitted of murder. All right. To October 1995. He had 30 years to look for the killers, the so-called real killers, right? The so-called real killers. Anyways, um, 97 civil suit filed by the family. 33 million is what he's ordered to pay. Of course, he's not going to pay it. There's word that he got money in offshore accounts, and like I said before, the Goldman family and others are trying to get that cash. But after all of that, and then in 2007, he writes that stupid book, and the Goldman's family buys the book and renames it "I Did It: The Confessions of the Killer." So yeah, the Goldman studied him on that, but with all of that, with him going through the system way he did, right? And you saw with that the dude Dwan B, you can see the resilience of OJ, blah, 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 blah. Right? I told you about how he was back in college, right? Hold on, let me just go back here. Yeah, back in college, dude wasn't with standing with any protest or doing anything radical. Remember that picture with Kareem and Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali? Kareem was in college, by the way, when he took that picture. So OJ was also in college. He's like, I'm not with it. So this is damn near what? 67, 77, 87, 97, 2007. Like damn near 50 years. So you think that you would change over a 50-year period. Well, as you know, back in 2000, I think it was 16, was it? 2017, whatever. People were kneeling for the flag in the NFL. And everybody had an opinion. Kaepernick started that up. And, it was noble, I thought, right? And I think it was something that some players showed some strength and they showed some resolve, right? And he got the whole country kneeling and stuff for the flag. I get that. But not everybody was cool with it. In particular, your homeboy Orenthal. Now, this is the same dude who said no to any protest back in the late 60s. This is the same dude who, after getting acquitted of murdering his ex and her friend, goes back on the golf course with those same whites who were supposedly trying to take him down. This is the same guy that after he left Los Angeles, moved down to Florida, found another Becky and just kept chasing Becky's, right? Then he goes to jail, the civil suit, faces 33 years, does 9, right? Like, even during the first trial, like, is he that dense where the prosecutors, he knows the prosecutors are moving stuff around in his house trying to make it more black. He doesn't understand what's going on still. So OJ, and let's just read what this guy says. Because they took out black dudes. Yeah. Boyfriend, yeah, looking to bias, disgrace NFL. Yeah, well, again, yeah, that's gonna be. Did you see it? Go check the New York Post. Actually, hold on. Let me show you what the New York Post wrote. And again, I don't give a shit. Fuck OJ. All right. This is who he wanted to rock with. Fuck that dude. Like, y'all are crying for this cat. Like, fuck this cat. This is who he wanted to rock with. Here it is. Hold on. Let me just show you what the New York Post said, and then we'll read this. Yeah, look at this. See this? Former football star, actor, murderer. Not alleged. Not alleged. At least as much as I dislike, I didn't say, I said alleged at least. I'm not saying, I said he was found not guilty. Liar. Look at this. Now the New York Post, owned by Fox. I mean, like, you know what it is, but yeah, that's what the New York Post said. But let's go back to your boy OJ Simpson. OJ criticizes NFL players for kneeling during the anthem, right? And let me just read what this dude said, right? He says, OJ Simpson is firmly, not casually, not, well, I'm still kind of looking to see what's happening. OJ Simpson, this was on March 16th, 2018. OJ Simpson is firmly against NFL players protesting during the national anthem, he revealed during his first sit-down interview in years. Speaking with the Buffalo News, his former football team's hometown paper, the disgraced actor and NFL Hall of Famer, said he agreed with Donald Trump. Let me repeat that for you guys, because maybe you didn't hear. No shit, Alquan, that he's a small hat. He agreed with Donald Trump as far as players who kneeled during the national anthem to bring attention to racial injustice and inequality. He goes on, I think Colin Kaepernick made a mistake, Simpson said. I really appreciate what he was trying to say. Do you, Orenthal? So, hold on. I thought he made a bad choice in attacking the flag. Kaepernick was the first player to kneel. Now, check what he says here. I grew up at a time when deacons were in the KKK. Now, of course, he's talking about, obviously the deacons of defense, right? When those brothers, who made up like some sort of protection against the KKK. That's what he's talking about. Something, as I told you earlier, he wasn't with, because he's not black. He's OJ. Man, he said, I don't disrespect the Bible because of those guys. The flag shouldn't be disrespected. Get this. Hear me now. Hear me loud and clear. The Bible shouldn't be disrespected because of what cops do. Excuse me. Like I said, I have that runny nose. But did you hear what I just said? This is your boy. This is the juice here. This is the juice. Give me a second. Let me just make sure that. This is your boy. All right. This is the juice, folks. Right? So he said the flag shouldn't be disrespected because of what cops do. The flag represents what we want America to be. Guys, this is after spending 9 years in prison in a civil case where, again, he shouldn't have gone to jail because he was trying to get back his shit. All right. And black people were backing him on that one as well. Oh my God. They were backing this fool on that as well. They backed him on that. They backed him in a civil case. They backed him, obviously, in a murder case. And then after all of that and all the red flags and what happened to him in his life, this is where we're at. So he said the flag represents what we want America to be. Trump has called for players who kneel to be fired, referring to them as son of a bitch. The NFL Players Union have defended the players' right to silently protest. Simpson currently lives in Las Vegas. He lives in, by the way, in a town in Las Vegas. I think it's called Somerville or something. A town that has 71% white, 12% or 13% Asian, and get this, 2 other blacks, I think it's like 6%, and get this, 2% of black folks, really 2.6, but whatever, 2.6% black folks in that area. Like, but you're getting behind this dude. Unbelievable, guys. It's unbelievable. So I'll be damned if the Camerons of the world, and I won't name their names, but you know who some of the influencers are. A lot of the B1s and the quote unquote FBAs and what have you, running behind this clown. These guys don't even know football, a lot of these dudes. They don't know who OJ is. They just know him from the trial. That's what's so laughable about it. A lot of these dudes don't even know football. Now, OJ said, and I'm just going back from what he said. He said he's not black, he's OJ. And let me read this again. If anything, he said, I want to be judged not by the color of my skin. I want to be judged by the content of my character and most of all, the caliber of my competence. In other words, I'm not like any of these dumb niggas. I think I'm the greatest football player that this country has ever seen. And that's all I want to be judged by. Don't tell me I have to do this because I'm black. So you fools who are trying to shame black people for saying that they don't fuck with OJ like that. OJ told you he doesn't want to be judged by race. I'm of the opinion that if there was a way he could control the trial himself and not use the race card, he would have done that, even though that saved his bacon back in 95. That saved his bacon. OJ said he doesn't. He said his blackness, I read this before, his blackness wasn't supposed to be thrown in everyone's face, right? But he wants to be judged by how great of a football player he is. My opinion with OJ is a legendary running back. Legendary. Can't take that away from him. If you're a sportscaster, you cannot, if you speak about running backs, you can't get around OJ Simpson. It's just what it is. He was a good actor. Again, those Naked Gun movies, funny as hell. They're good slapstick comedy. He was an engaging broadcaster. Right? A lot of charisma. But other than that, the man's a piece of shit. Been a piece of shit. Wanted nothing to do with black people at all. And what this shows, again, for people who are, I guess, fighting the fight or fighting the cause or with the cause or whatever, what this shows, whether you're Kanye, whether you're Candace, whether you're OJ, whether you're Cosby, all right? Whether you're Michael and you don't by words, but by actions, you let the world know you want nothing to do with your blackness. You can reject it. You can speak down on it like a Kanye. You can run away from it and literally run to other people who don't want to be with you. It doesn't matter. When they let you go, black people will always let you back into the circle. And this is why when I see you attacking people like Oprah, hold on. Excuse me. When I see you attacking people like Oprah, when I see you attacking people like Jay-Z, right? Even Terry Crews, you name the buck dancer of the moment, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They will always have a safe landing spot when they fall. I've said this a number of times on this platform. All right. Don't worry about P. Diddy getting embarrassed right now in front of the world, and wait until he goes into a courtroom. Watch black people lose their shit. At the end of the day, OJ said openly that he's not black, he's OJ. You want to join, you want to basically be right where he is. That's it. Let's see what Alquan is saying. I mean, there's probably some more, let's see what people don't like Ron. Like I said, yeah, like Ron may be a playboy again. I don't think that dude, he didn't deserve to get sliced up. He's wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time. Just like Darden, wrong place, wrong time, bro. See, I understand that. Um, see, because they took out black. Well, and like, let's be fair. Ray didn't kill anybody. Ray, I think Ray was around though. Like, come on, Ray didn't kill anybody though, bro. He can legally get away because of civil case. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you stay on this. Like Ron Goldman. What does he have to do with the small hats? Like, come on, bro. So you admit that OJ did it. I mean, let's just keep it a stack. You admit that OJ did it. There's a few places. There's a few places. There are a few places where rich people can, like, in Maryland, in the Caribbean. There are plenty of places where the black people are up here in New York. I mean, there are plenty of places. All right. And you'll be accepted and respected. They just don't want to be around black folk. That's all there is to it, man. That's really what it comes down to. I know he did, but obviously, Sheila, to be quite honest, she was probably the only one around in the hood. All right. And then once he got the fame, and again, watch OJ. And by the way, hit the like button, hit the share, hit subscribe. Watch OJ Made in America. All right. There's a difference between USC, which was clearly lily whitewashed, and a lot of these other places. There's a difference. There's a difference. White men have killed black men and got away with it. I mean, what are you telling me? I mean, what, like, I don't know what you're telling me. Does that mean I got to get behind OJ? See, here's the thing. OJ did get off. As I said before, Karma, and I put this in my community post, Karma eventually got back to LA. All the fuck shit that they've done. If you ever watched this show, The Shield, all right, it's on FX. It talks about Rampart. Everything about what they did is just a lot of just dirty shit. But and yeah, they got what was coming to them on a world stage, and you got to thank Johnny Cochran for that. But at the same time, OJ, like, you wanted you want OJ to represent. It was by default with this dude. Like, seriously, right? OJ to me doesn't represent jack shit, but coonery, and again, he is not. He was found innocent. Doesn't mean he's not guilty. Like, seriously, he was found innocent. Big difference. Yeah. So yeah, man. So, just leave some comments in the comment section. And, again, like OJ, I'm not going to sit here and like canonize this clown at all. Okay. I mean, he's just like right to the bitter end. He was just a narcissistic piece of shit. The shaming of like, and this is going to happen. Kanye, I heard he's got a lawsuit coming and shit. This is going to happen. You guys find every way that you can to get behind these celebrities, everything that you possibly can do. All right. These celebrities are nobodies, man. They're nobodies. So yeah, my throat is kind of gone. Like I said, I've been sick, but glad I got this live out, man. And like I said, not guilty is, yeah, well. So the guys who killed Emmett Till, they're innocent. George Zimmerman, who we heard on tape, right? He's innocent. We heard the screaming on tape. Like, I can't, bro. I'm like, you gotta. Oh man, listen. But anyway, guys, hit the like button, hit share, subscribe. Thanks for coming. until next time. And uh, you know, just stop the cap, bro, and stop the bullshit with these black celebrities. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say, man. But yeah, man. Peace and thanks for coming, bro. And I'm out. Big up on yourself. I'm going.